Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. Live edition of Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the great state of Florida and right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out, International Diamond Center. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is your number one local HVAC company. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Today we'll have Brent Beaird. We'll have Win with JC, second portion of today's program. Let's go straight to the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How you doing?
Shane, good morning. It was great to see you at Florida, Georgia last weekend, and it's going to get cold next week. We've got some 30-degree weather, so that will be interesting. But in the meantime, we've got some college football to look at after a big weekend last weekend and a big one coming up.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Brent, the college football playoffs, the first round of playoff rankings came out. Anything surprise you?
Not a whole lot. I mean, obviously the SEC is poised to do some pretty good things. The A&M, Alabama 3-4, Georgia 5, Ole Miss 6. About that. So and Vanderbilt's at 16. Needless to say, Vanderbilt hadn't been 16 very often, and still got Tennessee at 25. So 6 SEC teams in the initial rankings.
Yeah, we got 4 teams in the conference with one or less conference losses: A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Texas. Brent, out of those guys right now, who do you think plays in Atlanta?
Oh man, I mean, at this point, you would probably say A&M, although Texas is coming on, and I mean, you could say Alabama or Georgia, depending on who loses. Ole Miss is still in this thing too, so A&M and Texas obviously play the end of the year, so that will do something with that one. So I would say let's guess either A&M and Alabama or A&M and Georgia.
Yeah, that means Alabama has to lose a game. I don't think so. When you look at Alabama's resume, I think they have the best resume in all of college football when you think about the ranked teams that they have beaten. Yeah,
that's a good point. They in beating Georgia, Vandy, Missouri, and Tennessee. All those teams ranked. Georgia's beaten 2 ranked teams in Ole Miss and in Tennessee. Ole Miss has beaten 1. So good. And A&M's only beaten 1, and that was their win over Notre Dame. So we still got a lot of ball left to play. But yeah, good point. Alabama stands out right now as the only team that's beaten 4 ranked teams.
It's baffling how they lost to Florida State.
Yeah, really.
It really is crazy. Brent, there's a bunch of preseason teams that are no longer ranked. Have you seen this many teams kind of drop out of the poll? Has it happened like this in the past?
Probably not this early. Frankly, no. I mean, I think it's unusual, but it also kind of tells you where we are in college football. That when you say, well, anything can happen, and it usually didn't, but now, Shane, I think we have. So that's kind of been the difference with this. And not only does it happen, it's happening a little bit earlier than it normally does too.
Yeah. Ohio State's still the number one team in America, and the Alabama transfer, Julian Sayin, has the highest completion percentage as of now in the history of college football. He's got two studs that he throws to. He's playing at a high level.
He really is. And that offensive line's got to protect him, too. I mean, right now, you're still one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. So you can certainly appreciate this. But, I mean, at this, going into November, Shane, do you ever remember anybody who's throwing it at an 80.7% clip?
No. Again, he's got two elite, probably the two of the top receivers in America he's throwing to, but you still got to throw it and catch it.
Yeah.
And they're doing it at an extremely high level. It's very, very impressive. Brent, I mean, we got a lot of coach openings and more to come. Has Maryland officially gotten rid of Mike Locksley, or is that just going to happen at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think so. That's a good point. I think everybody expects that to happen. And people may forget, they went to 3 straight winning seasons and 3 consecutive bowl games from 21 to 23. They haven't done that yet. They started 4-0, and now they've lost 4 of their last 4 games. So that's a shame. But I mean, I mean, I know it's kind of what have you done for me lately, but he started off well, and at this point that they've kind of hit a snag, Shane. So unless they get hot, they may make a change there too.
Yeah, Brent, I think the biggest game in college football this weekend is Texas Tech hosting BYU. Tech has 1 loss, BYU has none. It's kind of whoever loses this game is probably out of the playoff hunt. But boy, if people have not watched these two teams, they're very good.
Particularly, to me, the interesting thing is Texas Tech. Now, look, I know there's a lot said about, well, Texas Tech just got all this money now. Well, I get that, but at the same time, you still got to get players, and they've still got to perform at this point. So, and Shane, that's a really good point. This is a big time game that a lot of people are kind of missing. That is going under the table. BYU and Texas Tech both have 1 ranked win at this point, but yeah, that's certainly very, very possibly the game of the week.
Yeah, Brett, Notre Dame plays Navy. Navy coming off a loss to North Texas. I just think the size and athleticism and strength of Notre Dame will overtake the midshipmen. What do you think?
Totally agree with that. Yes, Notre Dame has rounded Navy the last 2 years, 51-14 last year. And I mean, Navy lost to North Texas. Now, North Texas is pretty good. People need to remember that. They had 3 turnovers in the game. Navy had 6 turnovers against Notre Dame last year. So, and Notre Dame's won their 6th consecutive game to beat Boston College last week. And certainly, I think they probably will make the playoffs, certainly if they go undefeated the rest of the year. So, look, they didn't start real well, but I think the committee will reward them if they run the table, and that they will be in the playoffs.
Brent, you got the updated betting favorites for all the Power 4 openings. You want to give them to us?
Well, and again, look, this is just a guess. Eli Drinkwith going to LSU, Lane Kiffin going to Florida, Jeff Brom going to Penn State from Louisville, Virginia Tech, James Franklin, Rhett Lashley, Arkansas, Zach Robinson, who is the Falcons' offensive coordinator, going to Oklahoma State. This is kind of interesting. Tony White of Florida State, the coordinator at UCLA, and Frank Reich, the interim head coach at Stanford. What do you think about that, Shane? I mean, again, that's just a guess based on the odds. A lot of that. Now, I'll say this: if some of these coaches decide to stay where they are, that would change things up a good bit. But we're following the coaching carousel very closely. And again, unless you do, Shane, I don't remember having this many coaches coaching jobs up in the air this early in the season.
No, it's bizarre for sure. The only coaching search I'm worried about is one.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
that's the only one I'm focused on.
Yep.
Everybody else, to hell with them. I'm just worried about our squad. So
Yeah.
I still feel pretty good about it. I'm gonna keep
Yes.
plugging my guy, and hopefully we get him. So we'll see. Brent, the offenses with the most explosive plays, which are considered at 20 plus or more for yards, rankings in the country. Actually, I guess in the SEC. Who's first?
Arkansas. Arkansas can't stop anybody, but they basically can't be stopped either. So they're number one in explosive plays, 20 yards or more. Ole Miss is 2, Tennessee is 3, A&M is 4, Vandy's 5, Mississippi State is 6, which is interesting. And then you've got after that, Oklahoma and Alabama. I won't go into all of them, but gosh, Georgia's 73, Florida's 100, LSU's 107, and Auburn 119. So, boy, that also tells you a little bit about their records, even with Arkansas being number one.
No doubt about it. The Pouncey twins, Mike and Marquise, invite you to try the mango martinis at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, handcrafted with their J.F. Hayden liqueurs. Try those flavors and find your favorite. Shop jfhaydens.com. We got Brent Beaird here, talking a little college football around the country. Let's go in the SEC here. Brent, this game used to be the game of the year.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares. I think Alabama rolls LSU. Your thoughts? The game is in Tuscaloosa.
Well, and what Shane's talking about too is obviously LSU's had a coaching change. Their interim is Frank Wilson, who's on the staff. Whit Weeks, one of the LSU linebackers, is doubtful for the game. He has missed the last 2 games, has not practiced this week. By the way, Bama could set a school record for fewest punts. They have 21. The record is 32. So that just a little subplot there. They didn't have a player arrested, unfortunately. Kirkpatrick was arrested. He is a defensive back. His dad obviously played at Alabama too. And they are playing a lot more freshmen. They're not running the ball real well. Jim Miller is their leading rusher with 308 yards this late in the season, which is a bit unusual too. But and they will face LSU and Auburn coming up, 2 schools with interim coaches that are going on. So obviously a big game with LSU this weekend. Tyree Adams is out. Carius Kern is out at the left tackle spot. So LSU has a lot of work to do. They're still, it depends on what you read about who their athletic director is. Verge Osbury's the name we see, and then we read something this morning about, well, that may not be permanent. So I've quit trying to figure out what LSU's going to do. Shane, is that fair?
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows what they're going to do. Brent, I know Arkansas is off this week. Any chance? I mean, I think they're going to name Bobby Petrino as the head coach. What are your thoughts?
They may very well do that. I'll say this. I haven't heard anything else much on the Arkansas. I've seen Rhett Lashley's name, the SMU coach who was at Auburn.
He just re-upped with SMU, so that's out.
Yeah, that would have been the only thing going on. So at this point, if they give this current, and I know they're interim, but if they give this current staff a chance to recruit and bring in a better defense, I think they could be doing, frankly, okay.
For sure. Auburn travels to Vandy with DJ Durkin as the interim head coach. What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, it would be interesting to see how Auburn plays. I mean, Auburn's got a good defense. They just have not been able to bust a grape on offense. Ashton Daniels will start at quarterback against Vanderbilt. By the way, a little off the field news for Auburn. They have got a home and home with Notre Dame, which is kind of interesting. In 27 and 28, they'll be here before we turn around. So at Notre Dame to begin, and then at Auburn in 28. So Hugh Freeze obviously is out. I think everybody knows what that situation is going to be. But Freeze just did not work at Auburn. Frankly, 6-16 over 3 seasons, 15-19. John Cohen said he is the committee, their AD, and that he will be the one who will be picking the coach. Now, odds for the Auburn coach: Kenny Dillingham, John Sumrall at Tulane, James Franklin, Brent Key. I'm not sure those guys make a move. Jimbo Fisher's mentioned there too. So just some of the odds to be the Auburn head coach next.
Yeah, and you got a long list of those odds from Vegas,
Yeah.
and Lane ain't one. He ain't even on their list.
No, he's not.
Which
is he?
is interesting. It's not. Yeah, it's very interesting. Out of that list, I could see John Sumrall.
Yeah.
I know he's got Kentucky ties.
Yes.
I do know Ole Miss would like to have him as well, but Jimbo Fisher might be a good fit for them.
Yeah, he might. And look, Jimbo wants to get back in it. I mean, there's also talk that, I mean, I don't know how this would work, but FSU bringing him back. Now, again, my understanding is he was not fired at FSU. He just resigned. So that would be interesting to see. Brian Silverfield of Memphis, Eli Drinkwith has mentioned, Gus Malzahn's mentioned that's not going to happen. I don't think Dan Mullen is too. I'm not sure if Dan's just going to stay put at UNLV, but we'll see. So, but Dillingham, Sumrall, and Franklin are the top three, and it changes. We know this stuff changes every day, doesn't it?
It does, and this stat here is amazing. There's only 3 teams in FBS that haven't allowed more than 24 points in a game this year: Ohio State, Indiana, and the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we said a few minutes ago, Auburn's got a legit defense, don't they, Shane? They've really struggled offensively, though.
Yeah. Gators travel to Kentucky. In the recent years, we never play well there, Brent. Don't know what's going to happen with Mark Stoops. Your thoughts on this game up in Lexington?
Yeah, and obviously they beat Auburn last week 10-3, and there was I know that Stoops and the athletic director met after the game on the field, and they were very happy. So, and I mean, what I've heard is that if Stoops is ready to move on, they would do something, mutually with him, and they would be okay with that. But if he wants to stay, and look, they've fallen on some hard times as of late, that would be interesting. Eugene Wilson is out versus Kentucky, unfortunately. But again, I'm sorry, Dallas Wilson is one who's out. Eugene.
Basically all our receivers are out.
Yeah,
Trey Wilson's out, Dallas Wilson's out, Vernell Brown III's out. They're all out, Brent.
Yeah, thank you. I'm getting different reports about that. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, but I mean, Kentucky has its moments. They're not great, frankly, but they did beat Auburn, and they look to make it a couple in a row. I don't think that will happen, but we will certainly wait and see.
Another big game in the conference is Georgia traveling after the Florida game to Mississippi State, where Mississippi State picked up their first SEC win. They sit at 5-4, Brent. They could easily be 7-2 right now.
There's no question.
I think the Dogs, the Georgia Bulldogs, that is, better be careful going to Starkville.
I agree. I agree with that totally. They actually lead the nation in passing yards or passing plays of 40-plus yards. They have 16 of them. That's amazing. And 9 of those have resulted in touchdowns, and 6 different receivers have caught 40-plus yard passes. And again, Shane, we've talked about this. They have either gone into overtime or they have lost some close games against some really good teams, i.e. Texas as of late. So to your point, they can be a very dangerous football team.
Yeah, that is for sure. Missouri is coming off a bye. I think A&M's coming off a bye. They host A&M. Big game for the Aggies to continue their push to go to Atlanta, and obviously they'll be in the playoffs. But I just think A&M's got too much firepower on offense for Missouri.
Yep, I would agree. I think that's and A&M is really playing well. A&M offensively have got some of the better receivers in the league. They're playing well, really in all phases of the game. I mean, Missouri had not been bad. Missouri's problem is they just keep losing quarterbacks. Bo Pribula obviously is out for a while. We'll kind of see where that is able to go. But I'm with you. I think A&M is basically on fire at this point. And again, with Missouri, Eli Drinkwith is up for a lot of these jobs, so that's going to be interesting. I mean, I've heard him associated with about everybody, Shane. So that will be one of the more interesting coaching situations that we see.
David Macon on the Titan More text line says, "What 3 skill sets must a head coach need to have to build a Hall of Fame career in this new age of college football?" I don't know if there's 3 skill sets you have to have. You just got to win games. Win games and win championships, you will become a Hall of Famer. I mean, you don't have to win a championship, but if you win a bunch of games, you're going to be going in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
That's pretty much it. All right, Ole Miss, we're not even going to talk about them. They play the Citadel. Then they get ready for the Gators to roll in. South Carolina's off this week. Tennessee is off this week. And there's a lot of rumblings about Josh Heupel, them getting rid of him or him going somewhere else. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I frankly don't understand that. Look, the Tennessee's problem has been a lot of their problems have been on defense, particularly in the secondary where they've had a lot of injuries. That has been a problem with them. Look, Heupel has done a good enough job. I just don't see him going anywhere. I mean, look, Shane, before Heupel got there, I mean, you remember the Tennessee was in a desert for years with a string of different coaches. Heupel settled that down a lot. Now they've been and won the way the fans want them to. No, certainly not yet. But the reality is, I think they need to be patient with this. And look, here's another reality. We've got like over a dozen openings in college football, and there's only so many coaches out there at this point too. So, look, Tennessee needs to give him more time. I do, and you may disagree, but Shane, I just don't think it's they necessarily have to do anything right now. They need to get guys healthy and at least give this thing another year or two.
Yeah, I think Josh Heupel's done a tremendous job there. I mean, hell, they were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Not that matters because James Franklin was, I think, an overtime away from playing for the national title or the final. I can't remember but it's crazy he got fired. Brent, what's going on with our ACC friends? Obviously, Florida State plays Clemson, which that game usually is for all the marbles, but not this year. No. And then Miami has they're not in the playoffs now after losing at SMU.
Yeah, it looks very doubtful. Listen, Clemson hosting FSU used to be one of the highlighted games of the year. Now, this is amazing, too. Clemson was 134-0 when they reached 45 points in a game. They scored 45 against Duke and lost 46-45. So that, and Dabo in home games, first 84 games, 74-10. Last home games, 0-6. That's amazing too. So, and Dabo was very upset, and he's been very upset. There's a lot of stuff lately in the media, and they're going through a rough stretch right now. I don't necessarily think he's leaving. I mean, he would certainly have a job, I think, very quickly if he did. But they've got to win a decent amount of games. FSU, Louisville, Furman, and South Carolina in order to get going. Florida State had a nice win over Wake Forest. They really needed that. 421 yards of total offense and 6 for 6 in that game. By the way, Georgia Tech is off. Haynes King last week was on fire. 511 yards, 4 touchdowns, but the defense let them down. And North Carolina State upset Georgia Tech. Louisville hosts Cal, and as Shane said, Miami is hosting Syracuse. Syracuse is on a 5-game losing streak. Shane, they're averaging 12 points per game. A Syracuse team that looked much better early on. So, man, oh, man. And Miami, similar to last year, they lost games in November, and that's shaping up to happen again.
Yep, for sure. Brent, great stuff as always. We will talk to you next week, my man.
Good. Look forward to it, bud. Take care.
That's Brent Beaird, a college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, Ruse Ogre State Farm Office, a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call, 352-240-1779. We're going to take a quick time out. Come back. We'll be joined by JC for Win with JC. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, UF Health Orthopedics. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker's Sports, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, and MG&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you want to advertise, give my man Freddie a call at 352-284-3733.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger, and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Coach, you know, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros Tequila. aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light-bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros Tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros Tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
And good morning. Here we are once again. It's Thursday morning, November 6th. Time to win with JC. I've got Zach Rothrock, my producer, alongside with me. We're going to go through some of the games, including tonight's NFL game. We're going to go through the board of the games we believe give us the best chance with the odds and the trends that we have for this weekend in college football. We'll hit on the Florida-Kentucky game. Lots of injuries to discuss. We've got some NFL, of course, to go on. As well, and then we're just going to kind of rapid fire some games for you this weekend to kind of get a feel for what we're looking at on the board in college football. It's unbelievable to me how quickly this year is going, but it always happens this way, doesn't it? I mean, it always happens. You're sitting there, and next thing you know, you're in week 9, week 10 in college football, and then you start talking about playoffs and postseason and things like that. Real quickly, before we get into it, because I know our time is limited, there is a breaking news flash out there that ESPN Bet, which is a platform amongst 20 or 15 or 20, 25 states associated with Penn National Gaming, will be shuttering on December 1st. They just haven't had the competitive advantage or edge that they were looking for, and they had a 10-year contract that has now been terminated after 2. Penn Gaming and ESPN Bet out of the betting space. ESPN, however, has signed a deal with DraftKings, so you're going to see a lot of DraftKings and ESPN going forward. Let's take a look at how we did last week. Some games that really surprised me in the cash or trash segment. We cashed the Vanderbilt Commodores in a backdoor scenario, Zach. They were getting 3.5 points. The line also hit 3. They lost by 3 to Texas. They were getting blown out the whole day. They covered. Florida plus 7.5. We had the Gators. Of course, we all saw what happened at the very end, but for 99.9% of that game, you were on the right side of the bet with the Florida Gators getting the points. And at one point in the fourth quarter, I think they were leading by 3. They lost by 4. Duke plus 3.5. Yeah.
I was going to say the guy taking a knee also caused the over to not cash too, not just Florida. Yeah, it was a killer move, but I understand it. 70% of the handle was on Georgia, so a lot of angry people. Yeah.
But that's too bad. Duke plus 3.5. We had them as well at Clemson. They won by 1. It was a close game, 46-45. It was not the easy win that I thought it would be. Clemson is 1-4 at home. Clemson had to beat Troy at home in a comeback fashion after they were trailing at halftime in that game. And they came back. They came back and won that game. But they're 1-4 at home. They're horrible. They play Florida State on the ACC network this weekend. 49ers minus 2.5. They won by 10. The Bills plus 2.5. They won by 7 against Kansas City. So that was the winning side. That was the cash. We went 5 wins. We had 4 losses. Let's trash the Vols. Tennessee losing to Oklahoma. That was minus 2.5. Oklahoma won the game outright, of course. Wake Forest got blown out by Florida State. Cincinnati blown out at Utah. They were catching 10.5. Surprise there. And then the Colts just got beat by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Defensively, Pittsburgh showed up. They played zone. They kept everything in front of them, and the Colts had trouble with that. And Pittsburgh wins by 7. We had the Colts minus 3. On the week, that was a let's see, 26. So that's 5-4. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for something much better than that. That's just not what we're looking for. About 55%. So we're going to try to do better this weekend. You ready to go for the games there, Zach? You ready to go?
Yeah, man. Let's get into it.
All right, let's go with I'm going to start this game, and we'll get to the Florida game here momentarily and the SEC games. But I'm looking at this Memphis Tigers team. They're 8-1. They're laying 3.5 at home against Tulane, who's 6-2. Tulane, 27 points per game, down from 35 points per game last year. Their offense, that is. Memphis has allowed just 19.2 points per game on defense. They would hold teams to 12.2 points per game, below their season averages, which would imply that Tulane would basically score about 14 points. Listen, Memphis has got a quarterback in Brendan Lewis who's questionable. He's iffy, but he had a nice game against Rice last week. They're laying 3.5. I don't like that hook. If you can buy it and find it at 3, go with that. I'm taking Memphis.
Yeah, my note here is that Tulane has been solid all year. Last week they did have
6-2.
Their one loss was to Ole Miss until last week, where they got beat by about 20 points against Texas San Antonio, which is concerning. But with them, I kind of feel like this could be like a bounce back type of spot. I don't love the half point there. But I don't feel strongly enough to. I think so. If I were to be forced to pick a side, I think I would pick Tulane, but I don't feel super strongly about that as much as I do the next game on the docket.
I think Memphis is playing for a group of 5 spot. They want to get into the playoff, of course. Who doesn't? But I like them at home, 8-1. The only question mark I have is Brendan Lewis, their quarterback. He's a little banged up. Got banged up against Rice. We go to Starkville, Mississippi, the Battle of the Bulldogs. Georgia coming off that exhausting game last week in Jacksonville with Florida, where they were trailing in the fourth quarter, had to come up with some big plays, managed to stop the Gators on a 4th down. It drove me absolutely crazy. But Georgia is laying 9.5 against Mississippi State. Now, here's my rundown on State. Mississippi State has easily run through a schedule, and they're at 5-4. It could be 7-2 or even 8-1. If you look at some of these games they've lost in the last minutes. Georgia is 24-16. That's 60% against the spread in road neutral game sites since 2020. They're very good on the road. Mississippi State is 0-8 against the spread in SEC play, coming off a win as an underdog, which is what they were last week at Arkansas. But 63% of the DraftKings handle is on Mississippi State. They are 95th in rushing defense in the country. I think this sets up for a Georgia. One of two things can happen. Mississippi State wins in a very close game, or Georgia blows them out. 9.5 is a lot. Mississippi State is 7-1 against the spread this year. They're very good against the spread. Nobody has caught up to them. Vegas has not caught up to them. It's hard for me to lay 9.5 on the road in the SEC against a team that is 7-1 against the spread. I'm just waiting for Mississippi State to turn into last year's team, and I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to go with the crowd. Very scared about this, but I'm going to take the 9.5.
Yeah, I understand. I think that's the popular pick. I see a lot of people in the chat saying they like Mississippi State. Brent Beaird and Shane both said they like Mississippi State. And it's kind of starting to make me feel nervous because I'm with you, because it's not really about the talent as much here, because we all know that Georgia's obviously a better football team than Mississippi State. But you got to, for all the reasons you said, you got to love a big home underdog. 9.5 points is far too much. What Georgia has really hung their hat on and won on has been their ability to late game manage games with their coaching staff, and that doesn't help you cover 9.5 points. It's just far too much. And also, this game kind of feels like it might have a trap game written on it, because I know Florida just fired their coach, but Georgia's not looking past Florida. And then they got Texas coming up. So this Mississippi State game just kind of falls right in that
It's
valley.
a sandwich. It's
a
sandwich.
Exactly.
Sandwich games are very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
There's a lot of points that we look for in picking games that are pointing in Mississippi State's direction for this one.
Take the dogs. Hail State. They may not win, but that's a lot of points. Let's move on to Columbia, Missouri. Texas A&M had the week off. Everybody's hot on Texas A&M. Missouri's got a backup quarterback, this kid named Zolars, who's really quite good. He does not play like a freshman, if there is such a definition. But what I mean by that is he seems experienced out there. He's in for Bo Pribula. He's really a very good passer, and he's quite mobile. I think he's going to give Texas A&M some issues. Missouri's defense allows 16 points per game, and they have not allowed more than 31 points in any game. So you have two ranked teams, and home teams against the spread are 185 and 126 with 9 ties. That's 60%. A&M is 5-12-2 against the spread on the road since 2021, but this isn't your mother's Texas A&M team. They are very explosive. They, I think, have the best team speed in the SEC, and Marcel Reed can do no wrong, it would seem. They are 66% of the money on Texas A&M. Missouri is catching 6.5. If I can find 7, or if I don't have to overpay to buy that half point, I would do it for sure. But I'm going to take the home team once again with the freshman quarterback and give me Mizzou.
Okay. Well, so I thought you were going to go Texas A&M with this
I know you did.
Yeah, I like it, though. So, yeah, because I hate laying that many points on the road. But if you were to make me pick this game, I would have went with Texas A&M just because I feel like I'm kind of a broken record with this point, but the point still remains the same. They got the most elite defensive line unit in college football. I think that type of unit travels. And the thing that concerns me, though, is that Mizzou is elite at running the football and stopping the run. And so you can control the clock with that. So, I mean, frankly, this would just be a stay-away game for me. But but me personally, I think that Texas A&M has been playing the best football of anybody in the country, so it would be hard for me to bet against them, and that's why I would stay away. But I do understand your Mizzou pick for sure.
Zach T6824 wants to know about Texas San Antonio. They have been very hot, big numbers. I haven't looked at the Texas San Antonio game. I know I'm kind of catching you here on the fly. I'll have to check that one here momentarily. But thank you for the chime in there, Zach. We appreciate that. We'll get to the Florida game here momentarily. Let's continue in the SEC with Auburn. They just fired Hugh Freeze. They're playing Vanderbilt coming off a loss at Texas. We covered with them every week. They are laying 6. This is a Vanderbilt team that's now a favorite, laying 6. 80% of the handle, 88% of the bets on DraftKings and the betting splits are on Vanderbilt. People love Vanderbilt. But the line went from -7 to 6.5 in some cases to even 6. Why is Auburn, who's lost 5 out of 6 games, who fired their coach, who is unranked under a touchdown underdog? Why is that? Why aren't they a bigger underdog? And I think one of the reasons is that the line makers know that ranked teams coming off a loss of 7 points or fewer and playing an unranked team are 58 and 81 and 4 against the spread. That's 41%. So that number would go against Vanderbilt laying the 6 here. If you go with that trend, that is since 2015. So that's not just a local number. That's in 10 years. That's 10 years that number, 41%. And I'll say it again. Ranked teams coming off a loss, Vanderbilt, of 7 or fewer points, they lost by 3, and playing an unranked team the next week are 58, 81, and 4 since 2015. Auburn has a defense. Auburn has wide receivers. Auburn is going to be coached by DJ Durkin in this game. He's going to be auditioning for the head job at Auburn. Believe me, John Cohen, the AD, likes DJ Durkin. Auburn is catching 6 points, 6.5 points. I see a close game, maybe a field goal type game here. I'm taking Auburn.
Yeah, so it definitely has a lot of smoke when you tell me that 80% of the handle is on Vanderbilt, and despite that, the line is moving in the other direction. So that is a huge cause for concern just from a numbers and looking at line movement standpoint. Yeah, I mean, it feels like Vanderbilt might be one of those teams that has the flash in the pan, the September Heisman winner written all over them. And Auburn, teams that fire their coach do tend to bounce back and put it together. I know I said that about Florida, and Florida actually did play well against Georgia. So yeah, I like the Auburn pick. I think they probably have. If you just took away what everyone did this year, which I know is hard to do, they probably do have the better top to bottom roster outside of quarterback. So yeah, you give me the home environment, and you give me the points. I do like the Auburn Tigers in this one.
So you're going to take Auburn with me on that?
I'm with you on that.
Okay. Let's go to Florida. I have Barone. I love Barone. He really chimes in every day with us. He's one of our best viewers. And he wants me to sell points for the Florida Gators. Now, what does that mean? Well, the Florida Gators on Hard Rock are -3.5 at Kentucky. That means they have to win by more than a field goal. They are catching 5 cents on the odds. That's plus 105. That means you bet 100, you win 105. If you take the Gators straight up without the points, without laying the points, you're laying 65 cents. You're laying $1.65. So when Barone says, let's sell the points, that means you're going to make an alternative line bet. You're going to take the line from -3.5 to a higher number to get even more juice, more odds, more money for your bet. So if you take the Gators to, say, 5.5, just underneath that key number of 6, you're going to get 25 cents on top of your bet if you win it and the Gators cover by 5.5. Here's the problem. The Gators are the Gators. They are injured at the wide receiver position.
Correct.
We think that Kentucky sucks. We're pretty sure of that. They won last week at Auburn, but they have 0.0 in offensive efficiency. They are terrible. They don't score. They scored 10 last week at Auburn, but defensively they held the Tigers to 3. The under in this game is 43.5 points. That's a low number, man, in a college game. But you have, now this is what's really interesting about this Florida-Kentucky game. You have 80% of the money, but only a third of the total bets on the under. That means the bets that are on the Gators and Kentucky to go under are massive compared to the bets on the over, where 68% of the bets are on over 43.5 points, but only 18% of the money, the handle, is on the over. So they love the under in this game. And again, I said the money line was Gators -165. If you want Kentucky without points, you're getting plus 136. This is hard for me because of the injury situation to Brown and the Wilson boys. We know both Wilsons are out. It's really unfortunate because Florida's got so much talent on the outside. They still will have Jaden Ball. They will still have the tight end. And I think they still have the defense. That is enough for me to think that Florida will stone Kentucky's offense. This will be a very difficult game to watch if you like offense, but I think the Gators will cover by 3, and I wouldn't mind if you wanted to bet it up and sell the points and go as high as 5.5 and win by 6 and take some extra cash on your bet. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by the under. It feels like Florida's offense has struggled all year, and their defense has showed up a lot, and Kentucky's probably going to try to run the ball, play that clock control type of offense. So, yeah, I like the under a lot. I really hate to say it again, JC, but I think I would probably go with Kentucky. I think I would probably go against the Gators again. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely like the under more than anything for sure. Okay. But
you like
God, I just don't.
I drink a score. So, what's the score of the game, Zach? Tell me what the score of the game will be.
Oh, man, I think like 21-17. That would be 38 points.
So Kentucky wins 21-17? Or
Florida wins 21? So it'd be very close, which means they would cover that spread by 1 point.
You think Kentucky's going to score 21 points on Florida? That's very interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, it's Kentucky.
21 probably, 21, it probably, that probably feels too clean. Probably more like a 13-10. Probably one of those. God. Probably one of those. But that means it would be a push.
We would have to sit through 4 hours of 13-10. And
you're right. 21-17 does feel high.
I'd want to pluck my eyes out of my head with Carmen's spatula. Oh, my God. Watching that would be hard. So many people like the under here on YouTube. Lay the points for Kentucky to cover. Wow. Lay the points for Kentucky. Well, that would mean John Jett here, 54-63. That would mean take the points for Kentucky to cover. Actually, if he's saying lay the points, he's saying take Kentucky on an alternate
because Kentucky's the favorite, right?
And you would get a hell of a lot better odds if you did that. No, Kentucky's the underdog. They're catching 3.
I was reading that wrong. Wow, yeah, I'd definitely take Kentucky then.
No,
I'd definitely take Kentucky.
Okay, so you like Kentucky. Again, another situation here in the SEC where the home dog is in play.
Yeah, I like home dogs just in general, especially in college.
Okay, so let's do some rapid fire real quick. Let's do a couple games and just throw them out there. Hopefully we'll land on some games that people might be interested in this weekend. As I go through the league, let's just give me a winner and a loser here. Indiana -14.5 at Penn State. I'm taking Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana, that's a lot, but yeah.
They're
Indiana.
unbelievable. Their defensive line is incredible. BYU plus 10.5 at Texas Tech. They have a quarterback that wears number 47 at BYU.
Oh, yeah.
Texas Tech, very good on defense, healthier at quarterback. Texas Tech is trying to get to the playoffs, laying 10.5. What do you like there?
Well, 10.5 points. I like Bear Brockmeyer and BYU,
Okay.
I think so.
I'll take
10 points
Texas
a lot.
Tech. I saw Ohio State last week. They're laying 30.5. They could sleepwalk against Purdue, but give me the 30.5 points at home in Purdue. I think they'll lose by 28.
God, I hate games like that, but yeah, I would go Ohio State as well. They probably win by 50.
That's terrible. It's a terrible game. Navy plus 25.5 at Notre Dame.
I like Navy. 25.5 is a lot of points. I know that Notre Dame is probably going to wipe the floor with them.
Big number.
But Navy scored 30, 40 points a couple times this year, and it was against not Notre Dame. But I think they're gonna get up for that game. That's their Super Bowl, or that's one of their bigger games on the schedule. 25, that's disrespectful. I like Navy.
How about this game? I do too. I'll take Navy. Clemson laying 2.5 at home against Florida State. This game's on the ACC network. ESPN didn't want anything to do with it. It's unbelievable to me. Clemson minus 2.5. I'm taking Florida State. Let's go to the NBA.
Yeah.
Let's go to the NFL. Let's go to the NFL here as we wrap up. Quickly, give me some games you're looking at real quick in the NFL. We've got tonight, and I think tonight's a very attractive game for us. Go ahead. What are you thinking?
Well, I do think that the Vegas Raiders are one of the worst teams in the NFL, but reluctantly, I will ride with the Raiders tonight. Geno Smith has been awful, but he has been pretty good at finding Brock Bowers. Ashton Genty has looked a little better every week, and most importantly, Max Crosby stayed on the team and did not get dealt during the trade deadline. Max Crosby is the type of guy that could get after Bo Nix and just completely wreck and destroy this game. You're telling me I can get 9.5 points in a division rivalry game?
Yeah.
I'm going to look the other way as I place the bet, but I am going to lock in the Raiders at plus 9.5.
So since 1983, road teams that have lost 2 of their last 3 games are 5-21 against the spread when playing on a Thursday night and have lost by an average of 11 points. Cortland Sutton is my player prop tonight, over 53 yards, 53.5 yards receiving, minus 115. I'm taking Denver minus 9.5. I've seen the Raiders get blown out.
They can.
They quit. All right, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it could turn into that Washington versus Seattle game real quick. It could really turn into that. I could see that. Yeah.
Very, very quickly. All right, you texted me some 3 other games in the NFL that you're going to pick. Go for it.
Yeah, I like the Baltimore Ravens minus 4 over the Vikings. I just think and this is more about the Ravens and the Vikings. And then Lamar Jackson he's
back.
He's back. He's 16-1 versus the NFC. In his career, he averages 250 yards a game. And I think that he's just going to roll all over the Minnesota Vikings. The defense does look iffy. So I'm with you. I think you said you like the over in this game. I would also
like the over.
Yeah, I would also like the over in this Baltimore-Minnesota game. But I like Baltimore to win by probably 10 or 14 points. So the minus 4, I'm definitely not afraid of.
I do think Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy healthy is a more of a threat offensively.
They look real good against the Lions.
They did, and I like them at home. Baltimore's defense is healthier. I think this is an over. I think both teams are going to fire away at each other. I'm going to go over 49.5. We've got Jacksonville coming off a win in Las Vegas. They picked up Jacoby Myers from the Raiders at the trade deadline.
They could have just put him on the plane with him.
I think that's a fine pick that gives Trevor Lawrence another target. I like what they're doing. Houston is banged up. Houston does not have C.J. Stroud healthy.
Yeah, Davis Mills.
I mean, God save Jacksonville. They find ways to really make games more interesting than they should be. I'm going to take the Jags at Houston.
Oh, yeah, I like the Jaguars. I'm not going to say I love the Jaguars, but I really like the Jaguars at Houston. Just a 1-point favorite, so you just have to lay the 1 point, and you get to go against Davis Mills. The Jaguars with this new coaching staff, they kind of look like they're starting to figure out how to win games. They found a way to win a nasty, sloppy game last week in Vegas. You got to continue to figure out ways to beat teams that you can beat, and I think that they will. I think the Jaguars beat the Houston Texans. The offense continues to roll.
And let's talk about this quickly. This Tampa Bay New England game. A lot of guys hurt. It seems to be a weekly story. I'm not sure what Bucky Irving's status is. I think he's getting better. I don't think he would be 100% even if he played. New England's on a roll, man. Drake May is on a roll. I'm going to take the Patriots on the road to beat the Bucs. I'll root for the Bucs, but I'll take the points. New England is a 2.5-point dog in this game somehow.
Yeah, New England has looked good. Drake May has looked great. Tampa is supposed to be getting 2 of their offensive linemen back. They were rolling at the start of the year. Then they suffered those injuries. You can only sustain so many injuries, but the offensive linemen are coming back. I think Baker's going to get back in his MVP form, and he'll be at too much of a high pace for Drake May and the Patriots to keep up with.
All right, so we'll watch that game, see how it turns out, and we'll come back next Thursday and grade ourselves. I'll be on again tomorrow morning with Shane on PodUp with Matthews in the morning at 8 o'clock. We appreciate everybody staying with us and hanging with us for 30 minutes here as we wrap it up for today. We'll try our best to try to continue to make you money. Good luck with your bets this weekend, and if you want to support this half hour, give Freddie Weeby a call, 352-284-3733. That's 352-284-3733, and tell him you want more time. You want more time, and you'll throw the bank out. All right. That's going to do it for us today. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Good luck with your bets, everybody.